Deep, deep. All right. Looks like I'm live. Hello, everybody. 1 minute. I thought I'd just come on here, say a few words about yesterday and about today. Ding, ding, ding. Is LinkedIn on? Hey, hello, welcome. Can you start in a minute? All right. Yeah, let me switch the camera. Yeah, hi. I thought let's do a quick live stream. We were talking yesterday, and I thought let's jump on today. Let's talk a bit about data engineering. Make this I call this the data hour. Let's see. Andreas already said hi, hello. I see a few people here on LinkedIn as well. Hi, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. Hi, guys. Hope you can hear me. Just before before I went live now, I switched out my router because the router is so annoying, and I always have that problem with package loss. I don't know if you have problems with that. Somehow, for some reason, the internet connection here in the new office, like with the streaming, it says the internet isn't good, but hopefully the new router now fixes this. Yeah. So let me know in the chat what's up if you have questions around data engineering. I just want to show you a few things that I have from yesterday. So yesterday let me bring this up. Yesterday we were doing the workshop with DataBand, real world data observability in action. It's live on YouTube, so you can watch it. And here in the roughly after 30 minutes or so, we went into a huge demo where Eric showed us how Databand works, how alarming works, and so on. And you can actually check this out below here. Below here, I have the link to Databand, to what we've done here. So you can actually go in and you can try this out for yourself. This is still available until end of next week, most likely. So yeah, go there, try this out. This is something that I recommend. It was absolutely fun. I also did a video about this, how this looks earlier. Was it 2 months ago? I'm not 100% sure if it was 2 months ago, but yeah. So this you can check this out, and yeah, recommend this. Then something else. What's up with the comments, guys? Nobody is commenting. What's up? I see a few people here. Let's chat about it. Put your questions in the chat. I'm here. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off again. I want to also show you about this today. I have this in the link to this event, a link to how to build generative voice clone applications, because I found that very interesting. Voice cloning applications. Signal Store is doing a webinar about this tomorrow. So again, I have the link in the description. I find this very interesting. Like voice cloning, because there are so many applications to this. You can, hello, Babaola, because you can use so much or you can use this for so many applications, not just like cloning somebody else's voice, but also cloning yours, right? Because this, like when I have a video and I want to overdub something, right? I made a mistake in the video and I mentioned the wrong thing. Then if I want to overdub this, I actually need to record this and then put it in the video. But if I could something with this to cloning, where I have a text to voice, right, then I could just use my voice and I could just very easily fix the mistake that I've made, right? So that is something that I found very interesting. So check that out. I have that. Oops, wrong screen. I have that in the description of this live stream on YouTube and on LinkedIn. You can find this. Yeah. So those are the two things I want to point out today. Again, yesterday the workshop was really awesome. I think observability, so finding when pipelines break or about to break because like latency is going up and so on. I find this such an important topic, and usually about observability, people only talk like in theory about it, and this was really a nice workshop where we had hands-on parts, and yeah, you can check that out in the description. Try this out. Go along with what Eric showed. Give it a bit of a try. Can really help. Yeah, otherwise, your questions. I don't have really a lot planned for today. I just wanted to come on, talk about this. I also going to next week release the GCP course for in my academy, GCP for data engineers. That's a bit of a news, and otherwise, not a lot news wise, I think. So I have a few ideas about the future. I'm currently working on a new program. But yeah, let me know your questions all around data engineering. What do you think? Otherwise, I can also dive a bit into questions that I got on Instagram, because usually I do Q&A, or from time to time I do Q&As on Instagram, and there were really good ones. What do I ask about Azure Databricks want to ask about Azure Databricks using PySpark. Yeah, that's a good idea to actually go this route. Databricks, let me quickly fix something here. Databricks in general is a good idea. Spark is one of the things that every engineer needs to know and needs to work with and understand. I think there's no dispute around this, right? Spark is the thing. And I tried out Databricks for my academy. Previously, when I worked with Spark, I worked on a standalone cluster. When I created the course for my academy, I worked with Databricks, and it really is a nice platform, really helpful. And now with Azure, the thing is, as people are keep telling me, Azure has the best Databricks integration of all the platforms. So try that out. Yeah, go the route. Use Databricks and use PySpark with Azure. PySpark is the thing. I mean, nowadays everybody's coding in Python, so yeah, PySpark all the way. I think when you look at trends, or yeah, Scala nowadays, I don't know who codes in Scala. I don't know. I did an interesting post last week. No, a few days ago. I did a poll about which goals for people in 2024. And that was really exciting for me because I was asking, like, what are your goals? And a lot of people answered this poll. Let me bring this up. I found this very interesting. I don't know what your what your current what your current stage is at like what your goal is. No, I'm on the wrong side here. The interesting part here was this: um, were your plans 2024? I asked, and 40% of like this has 1,200 votes, so it has a lot of votes, and many people said becoming a data engineer because I wanted to see what are the trends. Senior data engineer 2020, 22%, becoming a lead for teams 14%, and making more money freelancing 24. So there are a lot of freelancers out there. I don't know if there's a freelancer uh, here in the chat right now, but yeah, I'm guessing that is something that a lot of people work on, and I think that is pretty normal, right? Because when you look at engineering, companies just don't want to spend money on engineering. Engineering has always been looked at as we need it, but if we could, we would save money on this. We would not do this. Unfortunately, you cannot go without engineering. And so a lot of companies actually outsource the work, right? Outsource the development, outsource um, the building of platforms, outsourcing maintenance of the platform or updates and so on. So that's where a lot of actually opportunities are right now, right? Freelancing. Having something, we were talking just now, we were talking about Spark, PySpark, Databricks. If you're very good at Databricks and if you know how to create jobs and how to process data, it's already something that you can do as a freelancer. You could do this as a consultant, you could do this as a developer, you could also do some coaching. There are a lot of options for freelancing out there, and because companies want to spend, rather hire somebody who does that from an external company than actually hiring people. I think that is a trend that we are seeing and that we're going to continue to see. Right. I don't know about you, but yeah, that's how I see this. Okay, what else? Let me know. What else are we going to talk about? One thing was that we were talking about lately. That was I always get asked if engineers should do web scraping or should learn web scraping. That's the thing I always like. I'm not a big fan of web scraping. I always disencourage people of doing this. Usually, when you think of you're working in a company, are you going to do web scraping? Most likely not. Why would you do this? Web scraping is not really reliable because the websites where you get the data is like they could change every day, and also usually within real projects you have defined APIs, you have defined interfaces how to get the data, and have to, or data has been dropped as files somewhere. But the web scraping, also I see web scraping is also um, a bit dangerous because you can have get into some trouble doing web scraping. I remember like 10 years ago, a friend of mine, while I was studying, he scraped data from a pharmacy, online pharmacy, and I remember that they sent him a letter, and they were ready to sue him for misuse of their platform. So I would not do this because it's not really in reality. You wouldn't do this. How could a data engineer leverage ChatGPT? For me, ChatGPT is less a thing that you can leverage it directly for it as a data engineer, but you could use it for templates, right? You need a template for some processing. Just ask GPT, give me this as a Python template, and then this will tell you the template, and you copy this in, and then you improve upon this template, stuff like that. Or if you have, like, if you want to know something, have some questions that you would rather usually search the internet for and go through 20 websites, it makes sense to just ask ChatGPT on that those kind of topics. I think that is very legit. It's very helpful. But ChatGPT in your day-to-day data engineer business, not really. I don't think so. Not really. What else do you want to talk about? Let me quickly check. What were some things on Insta that I was asked last lately? Um, Come on. I was asked, can a fresher get a data engineering job? Junior data engineers, yes, but a senior data engineer, no. And also the normal data engineer, the associate, very difficult. So junior jobs, yes, they might not be named data engineer. That's sometimes something that often they are called something cloud engineer or cloud architect. Uh, could also be something specific, right? With Databricks or with Spark engineers, Spark developer, cloud developer, stuff like that could all be a job description for data engineering tasks. So this way you could also as somebody who's starting out, you can get a junior job in these topics. It's good to have some knowledge before that. So you need to actually get the job, you should have some previous knowledge. You should know your way around these platforms and have a bit of development experience from personal projects. Also, um, yeah, document these personal projects that will help you for the job application. And yeah, this way, these things help. What did I have here? Is data engineering Azure certification enough to get a junior role? I actually don't know 100%. With certifications, mm, there's two things, right? There's the certification topic, and there's the actual doing, experience doing. And you usually don't have that much experience doing with the certification. But if you do a certification and then you can back this up with some personal projects that you can show off, 100%. I think 100%. These were just a few Instagram questions. More questions? Let me know here in the chat. Let's go. Come on. I know here a few people are here. Let's put your stuff in the chat. I'm here for a few more minutes. And it seems like the stream is going good. Seems like the quality is okay. Let me quickly check the quality. Seems okay. Is the quality good? How does the quality look on YouTube? Come on. YouTube. Content. Live. Good quality on YouTube? Okay. Let me see. Because I had so many, as I said, I had so many problems, and just before this stream, I switched out my router. Yeah, it's okay. Hey, nice. Okay. Okay, that looks okay. Um, what's your take regarding in-depth knowledge in AWS? I'm guessing that's AWS or Azure Cloud Tech. The more knowledge you can get, the more hands-on experience you can get, the better it is. The better it is. That's why I put this stuff in my academy with AWS, and also I have AWS, I have Azure, and now next week Google Cloud as well. That you need to understand how can you build pipelines, how can you use the typical tools. Like speaking of, I have Google Cloud in mind, right? Cloud functions, virtual machines, PubSub for message queues, SQL servers. What did we have as well? Cloud scheduling, Looker Studio for creating dashboards and for insight into data. I have something also in the academy with BigQuery and Looker Studio and cloud. How's it called? Cloud storage, I think, right? Where you store the files. These kind of things you always need. These kind of things you always use. And so, yeah, go with that. Get as much hands-on experience, get as much knowledge as you can, and then you'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right. What else? Somebody else. Let's go. There are over 20 people here. Let's go. Otherwise, I'm going to look at another question for my. More about my. Can you talk more about your academy? Yeah, I can't spend hours on this. No, it's the idea behind my academy was to help people get a data engineering job. Right, this is a booming job, and the education usually around this is terrible. Yes, there are some boot camps now, but I'm not a huge fan of boot camps, because how long are they going? They're going for 2 weeks, and then that's it, right? That's it, or 2 weeks, 6 weeks, doesn't matter. Like it's not a huge a lot. But what I did basically with my academy, let me bring this up. Basically, at learndataengineering.com, I have my academy, and very beginner friendly. I have a few tracks on this that you can take, and you can also jump around. Open source track, basically streaming with Kafka, Spark, MongoDB, Elasticsearch, then pipeline monitoring, Airflow, then the clouds, right? AWS, Azure, GCP as the basics for the cloud platforms, and then data warehousing, data lakes. We can learn how to use GCP, BigQuery, and Redshift, Snowflake, dbt, Databricks. We also have something with Hadoop and Hive, and overall, there's a lot of courses. Are we on 50 hours? I actually put this here. Yeah, over 50 hours. So 52 hours right now in, plus the GCP course that's coming. And this way, we also have a. Let me go to all courses. I also put in there a course on, well, first the certification, and I have one that is called successful job application where you can get everything you need, from that you understand the career paths and how to transition into data engineering, how to stand out on social media, how to document your work with videos or with GitHub, data sets that you can use for own projects, CV help and the CV template, the job market explained, about the interview process, right? Stuff like that. And I think this is, I had over 1,500 students so far, and this has helped a lot of students. It's not super expensive. Because I don't believe this should be super expensive. This is right now for the year. This is plus 19% sales tax here in Germany. It's without sales tax $264 for the year, or for unlimited it's 480. Right, this is for German sales tax, and yeah, basically everything you need. Yeah, and so this is for me. This is still the best thing that is around there. Um, yeah. Thoughts on Medallion architecture? I'm not sure. I have heard that recently. What's Medallion architecture again? Medallion architecture. Well, let me get myself on the other side again. Is that again something Databricksy? Bronze, silver, and gold. Man, people are always putting these. We need to have new names for everything, right? Yeah, medallion architecture. This is a really important topic, having bronze, silver, and gold layers, right? Because you need these different data layers with different qualities of data. Um, Basically, in bronze, as they wrote here, bronze layer would be raw data. You get data from another database, you put this into the bronze layer, into raw data, right? This is where just you drop it in, and then you clean it, you make it nice, they're filtered, cleaned. Maybe you need to add data that is missing, and then put this into the silver layer. And from the silver layer, the idea with the gold layer is that the gold layer has some business, is used by the business. It's basically used by BI tools and so on. And the data is then transitioned and modeled from the silver layer into the gold layer. Usually, or what happens often, is bronze and silver layer. This is our white tables. This is just where you just have your data as a large table. And then in the gold layer, you do the modeling, you do your facts and dimensional tables, basically make it ready for the analysts to use the data. So super important topic. Medallion. Um, how would you implement this bronze, silver, and gold architecture without DBT? You can do this without DBT directly in Snowflake. You don't really need DBT for this. You can do jobs in Snowflake and then process the data and model the data in Snowflake, because you can use SQL queries in Snowflake and transform the data however you want. Also have that in my course where I show how to do this. Um, it's no big deal. DBT is nice. You can do nice transformations with this, but you can also do a lot with Snowflake directly. When will you cover requirements gathering? I'm not 100% sure what you mean. Requirements gathering for what? For projects? Um, For architecture, I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Charles. Can you maybe put a bit more, give me a bit more information about this? SQL queries orchestrated with Airflow. I don't know if that is that a good idea? How, let me think about this. I haven't done this, so my hmm, I don't think that is that a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea, because then let's say you have a database, you do a SQL query from Airflow. I'm not sure. Can't say that. For projects requirements gathering. Well, I mean, the thing is always you need to start chatting with people, right? You need to start chatting with the business. You need to start chatting with the scientists, people who are basically want to have the output, who want to work with the data. And usually there are a few questions that you could ask. You could ask um, basically about latency. How long is it okay, or how long must it take from getting the data to getting the output? How much data is flowing through the pipeline are we getting? Um, what's the expectation of the growth? These kind of things are super important to basically bit touch on what are the technical needs for people regarding this. It's um, are you thinking something along that line, Charles? Like having a questionnaire to ask people might be interesting for freelancers, right? I've been mentioning freelancers. Might be interesting to actually um, create a biker. Hi. To create a questionnaire for people to go through. Okay, I'm having a project. I'm in charge of the engineering. What should I ask people to gather the requirements? Because like there are a lot of things, monetary as well. Like how much or does this cost maximum? How much budget do we have for this? In the end always it comes down to the data. What type of data is it? What problems are we expecting with the data? How much work is it? How complicated is the architecture going to be? Difficult to answer. So keep digging on this topic. What tools would you use for bronze, silver, and gold architecture if you have your data in BigQuery other than DBT? Well, DBT doesn't have data, right? The data is always in the database, so the data would be in BigQuery, right? So you could say, okay, let's say with BigQuery, you have your data in BigQuery, and then you create the bronze, silver, and the gold layers in BigQuery, because these are basically just tables, right? And then you need some kind of a processing framework to process that data. This could be something simple like a cloud function. This could also be something like a Spark job or something. but the actual where the data is always in the database in BigQuery. You could also use dbt there, connect dbt to BigQuery, and then do the transformations in dbt, because dbt is basically just it's not the actual execution layer that it executes the things and does the processing. It's just okay, I'm writing my statements in dbt, but the execution is done directly on the database, right? So the data doesn't need to be exported into dbt and then imported again into the database. I hope this answers this a bit. Oh, Biker, where's your message gone? Here. What are your thoughts on data contracts? Is it just creating a JSON file or a YAML file together with the data producer and doing schema checks based on JSON file? Well, it, I mean, basically, contracts are just an agreement, right? That you agree that the producer of the data, or the one who is supplying the API, is actually giving you the uh, giving you their word that nothing is changing, and giving you a specification of what this is. Um, there are always these topics in larger companies: who is responsible for the data, for the source database, for the source API. um, how is the structure of it, how do you query it, and so on. And if in simple cases, or in normal cases, you don't really need contracts, right? It's very clear if the documentation is right. If you have a well documented API, it's absolutely no problem, because there will be in there who is responsible for the API, there will be the structure and so on in there. If you have a terrible documentation, then you will do something like a contract. But I'm not a super fan of contracts. I haven't really. I think that right now it's a bit more talk than actual people using it. But it's checking the schema of the data. I guess that depends on the team size. Okay, about the requirements. All requirements are transformed to technical requirements and assigned to a member of the team. Exactly, exactly. But you need to ask. It's always the same things that you need to ask. And I'm going to write this down somewhere. Need a notepad. Requirements gathering. That's it's something important. Query optimizations, not a lot. The thing is how it's aimed. The academy right now, the academy is aimed here. Is aimed. Where is it? Right now, the academy is aimed to that 40% here, right? Becoming a data engineer, and my main focus is showing you how actually easy it is to use these tools and how easy it is to build these pipelines. I'm not going into usually I'm not going into optimizations. It's also a bit difficult to optimize something when you only have a few data sets that you can work with, right? Because we're using public data sets. So optimization, usually you're getting into optimization once you're working at the job. You could also look into books a bit more about the theory for specific tools, but I don't think that gives a lot of value for beginners. DBT is just for transformation depending on business logic. Well, it's for you have your data in the source and you want to transform it, yeah, according to business, or you want to clean the data, right? And then you use dbt for that. Yeah. But the good thing is, again, the good thing is the data is going to stay in the database and not getting exported. So if the data producer documented their data somewhere, Confluence, for instance, in Confluence, yes, then there's no need to create a data contract. Like, for what? How do you handle schema evolution if there's a breaking change in the schema? Because there is a line of communication, right? There's going to be a documentation, and people are going to see the documentation, and maybe they're contacting the person who is using that source, right? So there's either you have it proactive, where the one who is responsible for the documentation and for the schema, where either these people are talking to everybody else and notifying them, hey, we're going to do a schema change, or once they do a schema change and break everything, before that they do a documentation update, and now everybody knows what has changed, right? I don't think this is super complicated. How do you handle schema evolution if there's a breaking change in the schema? Most companies don't care about if then everything else breaks. I've talked to students of mine. One worked with Apple Music API, and what Apple just does is they change something. They tell nobody. They just change it, and it doesn't work anymore. Or I think if people, when you look at app developers, it's the same thing. These companies, they don't give a fuck about this. They just change it, and then that's it. You have to struggle with it. It's like that's usually the thing. Do you just override the existing data? What? No, I wasn't sure what you mean. But yeah, the main thing here that you mentioned is having a good documentation. That is super important. Super important. All right, guys. Again, I want to mention this again. Where is it going? So in the description of this video, of this live stream, check out the link to how to build generative voice clone applications with OpenAI for tomorrow. I think this is an interesting topic, because I could have used this also a few times now, where I made mistakes while recording courses, and then in the editing I see this. If I could clone my own voice in a good way, I could just go text to voice, download this, import this, and then that's it, right? But they are going to show here potential applications, ethical considerations, live demo, and so on. And yeah, I think, as always with these things from Single Store, you will, if you register, you will get the recording afterwards. So even if you don't have time tomorrow, use that, and then that's it. And about the workshop from yesterday, data observability in action, that I did with Databand. There's the link to the actual Databand platform where you can register, and then Eric will give you access to the exact same platform that we worked on yesterday. One more question was here. I mean, if there's a big schema change, what is your strategy? For example, with Spark, you can just override, but the disadvantage is that it might take long. So the thing is, what are you going to override? Right? You have an API, and you have a small schema change or you have a big, let's say you have a big schema change in there. In the end, you have some business logic that you need to fulfill. So you would not overwrite the existing data. You would try to model the new data to be added to that existing data. Could be that you need to add a new column, and then the column is empty for the data that came previous. Or if something disappears, then this column will be null for the new data. I'm looking at this pragmatically, right? I'm a pragmatic. Depends, of course, depends on the use case and what you're doing, but I don't see this as a huge problem. Yes, it can be annoying if you don't get notified about it and you find out by having the pipeline break, but that's life. All right. I'm going to come on tomorrow again. I want to get a bit into the habit of these live streams, and yeah, now that it looks like the actual quality is good again with the new router, having something from German Telecom. Yeah, quality still seems good. Okay. I wish you all a great day. I'm going to do a post now after this for the single store thing that I just showed. And then for me, it's already almost 5 p.m. Then I'm going to be finished for today. Again, if you want to learn data engineering, check out data engineering, learndataengineering.com. Are you planning in-person events? No, I hate going somewhere. I hate traveling. I don't travel. So there will be no in-person events. The only thing that we can do are I want to bring this back again, are Zoom meetings with people for my academy, but in person, no. That's not. No, also not maybe in Germany. The only thing that I would go, there's a meetup here in Würzburg, a data meetup. It's once every quarter year, and I try to go to that. I think for 1.5 years. It was last week. Was it last? When did I do the live stream with Databand? I think that was last week, and of course they put the meetup exactly at that thing. So no, otherwise I don't like traveling. So maybe to something special, but okay, guys, see you tomorrow.